Welcome to the Jaguar Podcast, a show where we discuss all things related to Duval County's finest NFL football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Move 42, set, fight!
Duval, baby! Hey everybody, this is Andrew, and welcome to episode 84 of the Jaguar Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing whether the Jacksonville Jaguars should sign Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton. So let's jump into it. But before we start, again, want to give a quick shout out and kudos to our healthcare workers and nurses, doctors, EMS workers, firefighters, police officers, and service men and women. Thank you so much for helping us through this kind of chaotic time with the coronavirus pandemic. We really appreciate it. And again, if you see a doctor or nurse or like EMS or servicemen, give them a kudos, give them a thank you, and that's it. Yeah. So let's jump into it. Bottom line, do I think that the Jaguars should sign Andy Dalton? No. There's been a lot of talk about this on social media, and I think it's because Jay Gruden used to be the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, and Andy Dalton and Jay Gruden have a relationship, and yeah, that's great. But I know they did go to the playoffs when Jay Gruden was there. I believe it was from 2011 to 2013. They had a nice little playoff run there. But I just don't think Andy Dalton, going for him is not the right move for a variety of reasons. I mean, I just don't think he is a guy that can read defense really well. I mean, I think he's thrown a lot of picks. He's not the most mobile quarterback, and he's not very clutch either. I mean, the guy throws interceptions or turns the ball over in the worst times, and it's just not good. And he kind of reminds me of Kirk Cousins. Like the guy's got. Kirk Cousins probably has better arm strength than, Andy Dalton, and is probably a little more mobile. But, the guy throws picks at the worst times. And I feel like that's the same situation with Andy Dalton. So I just don't think it would be a good decision to go with him. I mean, you look at his career. You look at his 2019 stats. Right here, he's got 3,494 yards in 2019, 16 touchdowns, and then 14 interceptions. I mean, he throws a lot of picks, and it's just not a good situation. And he's also going to ask for a lot of money. I mean, if we're trying to maintain cap space for the Jags, if we're trying to manage that whole situation. I don't think Andy Dalton's the guy that you want to go with. I mean, he's going to ask for a lot of money. I mean, I think his contract's guaranteed, I think, at about $17.7 million. And I mean, do we really want to go and get Andy Dalton, who's probably going to be a backup? I mean, I have more confidence right now in my man Gardner Minshew.
Just heart and balls, man, heart and balls.
And that's why I'm wearing his shirt, because I believe in him, and we don't want to be in another Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew situation. And imagine if we bring Andy Dalton into this situation now with Gardner Minshew, and we have Jay Gruden, that's the offensive coordinator. Can you imagine the drama in that situation? I mean, it would just be crazy. It's like the Washington Redskins all over again with, their quarterback debacle. I mean, we don't want that. We need consistency. We need to have trust in Gardner Minshew. Hopefully we get Minshew mania again. I'm praying for it. And I mean, we have so many different quarterbacks, pedigree quarterbacks coming up in this draft. I mean, we have Jalen Hurts, we have Justin Herbert, we got Tua, all these great quarterbacks that we could pick from. And I'm going to again jump on the the Jalen Hurts train, because I believe that he is going to be a great quarterback. I think he's got a lot of energy, a lot to prove, kind of like Gardner Minshew. I think he would learn a lot, playing behind Gardner Minshew as a second-string quarterback. And I feel like this guy could be the next Russell Wilson. And I think the Jaguars would be stupid to pass up on him.
Idiot!
Because I feel like he's going to go in the second round, and we have great draft picks this year. Let's get this guy. Let's get Jalen Hurts. Let's get him behind Gardner Minshew, and let's make this happen, because I feel like we have a lot of draft capital for this 2020 draft, and wasting it on Andy Dalton. And I don't want to fault him as a quarterback. I mean, he does have some strengths, but I mean, I just think the Jaguars have had enough drama at the quarterback position. I mean, we've had Blake Bortles, and then we've had, Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew, and now, to bring Andy Dalton into the mix is just crazy. No, absolutely not. I'm going with Gardner Minshew.
Just heart and balls, man. Heart and balls.
And that's my decision there. But let me know how you feel about this, decision, or my thoughts on this about Andy Dalton, because I know there's been a lot of talk about it on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter. But, leave me a comment on this YouTube video or podcast episode. Give me a like if you enjoyed this content. Swing by my Twitter feed at Jaguar Podcast if you're bored. I know everyone's going crazy, during this coronavirus, crisis and pandemic. Leave me some feedback on Apple Podcast. It always helps me, when I'm putting together these podcast episodes and YouTube videos. Subscribe to the channel. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.
Let me get that. JYD coming up with the big sack. Quarterbacks beware, we on the prowl. Game day night, you could hear it in our growl. Intimidation on to keep their hearts racing. Eating other teams live on TV front of the nation. Spectacular defensive scheme.
This episode is available on the Jaguar Podcast YouTube channel. So if you stop by, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Also, these episodes are available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me a review and some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, my Twitter handle is @JagwarPodcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers.